Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture series on general psychology. I am Dr. Olivia Kakati Sharma. I'm a psychologist and researcher, and I'm also UGC NET qualified, and I have completed my PhD from the University of Delhi, and I have also completed my Masters in Clinical Psychology from Christ University, Bangalore. Today, we shall be taking our journey further and covering these important topics on learning, which are the principles of learning, theories and applications of learning. So in this session, we shall be exploring the various processes of learning like classical conditioning, operant conditioning, social learning and so on and so forth. Also, we will go on to discuss the factors influencing learning, the factors that sort of facilitate learning, and also how these processes and theories of learning are applied in the clinical and educational context. So let us begin our journey. So starting with what exactly is learning. So learning means to assimilate or acquire some new skill or new experience or new knowledge in some form. Okay, so when we try to understand what is learning, the most important thing here to understand is that learning is not just any change or assimilation of skills, but it is a relatively permanent change in behavior due to some experience. So when we try to understand the definition of learning, we have to keep in mind three things. Firstly, there is a change happening. Okay, what kind of change is that? It is not a temporary change. It is relatively permanent in nature. So as the change is relatively permanent, the next thing we have to take care of is in what is the change occurring. Okay, so learning, though we usually in most of the definitions we say that the relatively permanent change is in behavior or observable actions, but learning can also encompass changes in your mental processes. Okay, so learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior or your mental processes due to what? Due to any sort of experience or practice. Okay, so it includes everything from the acquisition and modification of knowledge, skills, values, habits and attitudes. All of these together encompass what we know today as learning. Okay, so it is not just the knowledge set or the skill set, it is also your habits, values and all the related skills that come under learning. So all these together encompass what we call learning today. Also, remember, learning is a very, very active process. So this process is not stationary. It's a very dynamic and active process. Learning does not happen passively. Okay, it can happen passively in some conditions. When we discuss the processes of learning like classical conditioning and operant conditioning, we'll talk about when there is some subliminal passive learning happening. But mostly the process of learning is active in nature. It is also adaptive in nature. Now, what do we understand by the term adaptive? Because it is adapting, helping us to adapt to our surroundings. It is helping us to adapt to our environment. That is why learning is also called adaptive in nature. And also, learning is measurable. Whatever you learn can be measured as well. Okay, so again, now like I said, usually most of the definitions only include the word behavior, but now that we understand that learning is not just the product of behaviorism, but we have, learning has influenced the cognitive and other schools of thought as well. So now learning is set to encompass both the cognitive or the mental process element and the behavioral components as well. Okay. So in psychology, what we commonly see is that learning is not simply memorization. Okay. So we have also covered our lecture on memory, where we talked about learning is not simply memorization. What is that? Only memorizing something is what we call rote learning or surface level learning, right? But learning in the truest sense involves transformation through interaction with the environment. Okay, so it is not just simply remembering something or simply memorizing something, but it transforms you through the interactions we have with our environment. That is how it makes us more adapted to the environment and to the world around us. Okay, so why is learning important? Because this process is very, very central to adaptation, problem solving, growth, which is why it is vital in almost all fields of psychology, including biological, clinical and educational interventions as well. Okay. Now, coming to some of the key features of learning. So if we have to summarize, we can say that there are 5 basic key features of learning. Firstly, the most important feature is that learning leads to enduring behavioral or cognitive changes. So I'm repeating this again and again because this is very important to note. The changes which learning leads to are enduring in nature, okay, persistent over time. It is something which is relatively permanent. It is not a very temporary change, okay. Next, it is based on experience. Now, you may ask me, what kind of experience? Is it only reading? Is it only, maybe watching somebody do something? So these are all forms of learning, okay. So experience can be of any kind, be it through, practice, where you learn a skill and then practice it and try to do it on your own. It can be through observation, which is what we call observational learning, which we will discuss later in the class, and also through feedback, okay, where you try to do something and somebody gives you a feedback, or you yourself receive a feedback from the environment, whether you are doing it right or wrong, and you further improve on or work on that skill, okay. So when we talk about experience, it can be obtained through all the means like practice, observation, as well as through feedback. Okay. Third important feature of learning is that it excludes temporary changes. So this is, complementary to the first point we discussed. Learning, since it is consisting of the relatively permanent changes, it excludes, temporary changes may be caused by drugs, fatigue, or due to maturation effects. Okay, what is this maturation or practice effect? What happens is that when you do the same task over and over again, you when you are doing it twice or thrice in a row, you sort of learn that skill, but you sort of learn to master over that task, but you forget it over time. Okay, so those are sort of relatively temporary changes. So learning does not encompass of those temporary changes which are maybe caused due to other influences like that of drugs or sort of fatigue or maturation or practice effects. Okay. Fourthly, learning can be observable. Okay. So it is not always necessary that learning is always observable. Okay. Sometimes it can be latent as well. So it can both be observable, that is, we can see it through our behavioral manifestations. Okay. Behavioral manifestations, or what we call the observable behavior. So learning, whatever learning has occurred, is sometimes directly observable through the behavioral manifestations that we show or the observable actions we have, but can also be latent. Okay. What is latent? That skill is present in us, but since it is not the exact time where we require to use that skill, it's dormant in us. Okay. But when the time comes, you can do it. For example, you may know how to swim. Okay. But right now, because you are not confident enough, you are not able to swim. But when it's like a life and death situation and you need to swim to save your life, then you are able to use those skills. You are able to use that learning and save yourself. Okay. So sometimes it can be latent or what we call dormant as well. Okay. So learning is not just only your observable actions, it can be latent as well. Okay. Finally, the last key feature of learning is that learning is context sensitive. Okay. Learning does not occur in vacuum, or learning is not like almost every other psychological process. Even learning is very context dependent. Okay. It is not something which occurs in isolation. It is not something which happens in vacuum. So the kind of environment you are in, the motivating factors that you have, as well as the individual differences that you have, all account for your learning outcomes. Okay. So context sensitive, how is it context sensitive? Your individual factors, then what are the other things I was talking about? Motivating factors as well as the environment. All are part of how well your learning outcomes are shaped. Motivating factors and environment all affect your learning outcomes. Okay.